You're listening to the smartest guys in marketing, the best show on the planet for client businesses to learn about traffic, funnels, sales, conversions, and marketing coolness. Chris and Taylor are the founders of Traffic and Funnels, a digital marketing consultancy helping you get paid clients from cold traffic daily. Now, here are your hosts, Chris and Taylor.
Yo, we are interviewing Michael Murphy. I'm just going to go ahead and tee this up. The man, the myth, the legend. He's from down under. Like, literally, he was born there.
Like underneath what?
From down under. That's what it's called.
Oh, Australia. Yeah.
Sorry, bro. So we are happy to have Michael on. He is amazing. He's an awesome dude. We love some Michael Murphy.
Hey, great to be on here, guys. And we've been really enjoying the journey. And I'm actually I'm up over at the moment, up in the US. But yes, it is true. I am from down under, pretty much like Crocodile Dundee, actually.
You kind of look like Crocodile Dundee.
Huh? Just before we get into the interview, I wanted to say, Michael, you just had your 97th wedding anniversary. Right.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, my metrosexual kind of face cream is working very, very well. And thank you for the celebration. Thank you for the present you didn't give me on our 97th wedding anniversary.
Man.
Well, you've been in a lot of regards. You're somebody that we actually look up to and revere, just because you're an example. You've been married to the same woman. How many years is it? The real number?
35 years. We've been happily married for 33 of them. And the first 2 years were pretty tough, but we pushed through. And 35-year anniversary we've had. Yeah, thank you for that.
So cool.
Amazing. So people are probably wondering, like, who is this guy? Can you give us a quick, just like, rundown of who you are, what you do for people?
Well, I've been in Christian ministry, my wife and I, for about 34 years now, pretty much the whole time that we've been married. We're both first generation followers of Christ, so we haven't got churchy kind of backgrounds. We've both got pretty wild backgrounds, actually. And I think for us, it's the transformation that we had back when that has really motivated us for those over 3 decades now to just do all we can to help people. We were in local churches. We helped to plant a church in Australia 100 years ago called Hillsong Church, and it's now become a church that's got several campuses around the world. Then we were senior leaders of our own church for 18 years, and then 4 years ago we really felt a distinct shift to take what we've learned, good, bad, and ugly, and to help others in nonprofits and churches in both the developing and the developed world. So we've been traveling pretty flat out for the last 4 years and loving it.
So you're in the nonprofit sector right now, helping people in the nonprofit world.
We are. We try and help nonprofit leaders to do better at what they do in order to help a truckload more people through them. So we're not so much on the coalface but we're helping the leaders that are then multiplying their influence.
Yeah. Ted and I have both been in the nonprofit world. And I think one thing, I don't know if you'd say that you'd see this as well. People in that world have a challenge with money and finances. And I think a lot of their thinking about money is off and it's wrong. Yeah. Do you talk about that? Do you see that? Would you agree with that?
No, I absolutely would. From a number of perspectives, I think that those with a mercy heart, and a lot of people in the nonprofit sector are like that. They do what they do because they really want to help people. They don't tend to be all that necessarily business minded. And so that's the first thing. I think the second thing is, honestly, there is what can develop there when you're working with people with lack all the time. That thing can infuse you, and I remember a little bit of a public stoush between two senior leaders in Australia several years ago. One that was a high-profile head of a major nonprofit helping the poor. The other one was head of a major church. And the guy in charge of the nonprofit was saying, yeah, you're talking about money all the time. The guy heading the church was saying, well, listen, if you don't have the money, you can't do more of what you want to do. And they realized that they're on the same page, that they're on different sides of the same coin. That when they realize that, man, it is true. Why have a stupid attitude towards money? God hasn't. He talked about it 2,000 times. And so the truth is, the bigger your vision to help those that are broken and needy, the more money you actually need. And the sooner we face up to that and stop being small-minded about it, every bit of small-mindedness about money in the nonprofit sector is ripping off those that have needs that we're not yet getting to.
Mm.
Okay, can you say that again?
Uh-oh.
I said every bit of small-mindedness about money in the nonprofit sector is ripping people off that have great needs that we haven't yet been able to get to.
So good, dude. So good. So you're saying that people have a responsibility to work on the way they view money? Really?
Oh, without
That's
a doubt.
Shocking.
50 times over, yes, absolutely.
I mean, you just embodied, I feel like, a lot of things that we talk about over and over and over on this podcast, because with Chris and I, we do both come from nonprofit world. Chris he was a missionary. I used to work on staff at a church in Memphis. And I really feel like part of, what we're trying to do is change the way that people view money, because money is it's just a tool that you use to empower the impact you want to make, right? It's a tool that you can use for good or bad, but it is a tool.
Absolutely. Taylor, it's amoral. Money is amoral. If money doesn't have value until you attribute it to invest it into a cause. That the same greenback, to be a bit culturally relevant here, the same greenback that could be used in a casino or to buy drugs can also be used to feed a family in the developing world. And it's no different. There's not good greenbacks and bad greenbacks. It's actually what you do with them that attributes the value to that money.
Yeah.
So can I say something real quick or ask a question? So speaking of money, you are in the nonprofit world and you invested a lot of money to come work with Taylor and I. Why?
Yeah. Oh man. I'm still trying to work that out, guys. No, absolutely.
He's gonna ask for a refund right here on the
show. Totally. Let me do this. Is this live? Testing, check 2. No, we really did. And to be honest, we had a bad experience with a previous marketing crew where we invested a similar amount of money. So we were already below the line, if you like, in terms of trust and credibility. And I followed you, as I think probably a lot of people are, and there'll be a lot of people listening to this podcast now that are kind of just, we call them in Australia tire kicking. They come up to buy a new car, they're kicking the tires, and they're kind of checking you out. I did that. I was stalking you. Sorry, my bad. But then I just thought, well, I need this. And for us, the motivation wasn't money. And everyone could do with more money. And my wife and I aren't, millennials anymore. I know that will shock some of you. I'm 57. She's similar age. So we'd it'd be nice to have a little more money to be able to retire, because we really haven't done well managing our money, quite honestly. And I'm cracking the whip right now with millennials all over the world to say, get your finances in order, because one day you're going to need it. So yes, there is that benefit. But the true motivation for us is to have more resource to do more in the next 10, 15 years, to be possibly stretching it, that we've got to really have the pedal to the metal in helping to expand what we're doing.
That's great. So it's interesting, there's like a convergence of two things, business and missional. We don't really dive into this a lot. talk a lot about our kind of our bigger missional goals and all the different things that we invest in and support. What do you see the opportunity being if someone gets it right on the business side, as you are definitely in the process of, and you're really killing it, but also on the missional side? What's the convergence and what's the opportunity you see, especially in today's day and age, when someone who's listening and maybe they're in the situation like you were or you are, and you have a big missional purpose?
Yeah.
How do you see the opportunity that they have to really make a tremendous impact on people if they get the business side right as well?
Yeah, to be honest, I've worked a lot of my time inside the church and inside nonprofits, but one of my hobbies is actually really getting underneath and encouraging business people, or what I call marketplace leaders. One of the guy that owned Gloria Jeans Global for decades was literally one of my best friends, and I did that whole journey with him. I consulted to the board there and so forth. Here's what I know about those that are involved in business. In your 30s, you have just flat out just ramping up for success. And then you hit 40, and again, it's not a magic number, but around there, and you start thinking, hang on a minute, there might be more to this than just me having another, luxury car, though I've got no problem with luxury cars. If you've got it, then you have nice things. I don't think God's got a problem with having nice things. You're going to be held accountable, in my estimation, for what you did with what you had. So this is not some sort of about having money. I just think that those people get to a stage where they start, not that they're not thinking success, but the pendulum flips over to significance. And I think that for every person that is in business, there's an opportunity. I wouldn't want to put a heavy rap on you. You've got to do it because you've got money. No, you have to do anything. It's your money. You can do with what you like. But the joy that can be found, the fulfillment that can be found as you engage in some causes to help those that are less fortunate than you is frankly, you buy something with your money there that actually money can't buy. And so we're doing it, but it's not limited to us. There are many businesses that have this little penny aha moment, this penny drop moment, and they start to look around, and you got people that are helping to support disadvantaged children, building wells, helping in sex trafficking. There's more slavery happening in the world today than there ever has in the history of the world. That shocks a lot of people, and there's some amazing business people that are getting behind that and saying, you know what, this is not right on our watch. So anyway, sorry.
No, that's so true. We can attest to that because, we have nice things. We definitely enjoy the quality of life that we've been able to build. But we've said this before, the best check the most enjoyable check we write each month is we give to different organizations. So we give to, anti-trafficking organizations. We give to, an orphanage and things like that. And it's more fun than driving a Tesla, even though driving a Tesla is a lot of fun. Yeah. There's something about that makes everything, it makes us want to push harder. It makes us want to, it makes it all worth it on a different level. It's kind of a different playing field,
That's great, Taylor. Look, I don't think I answered the other question well, actually, in the sense of investing in this. We were doing, our level best to traipse around the world. And I spend about 300 nights a year outside of my own bed. So it's extensive travel. My wife and I travel together most of the time, fortunately. I got gazumped by our new little grandson this particular occasion, so she's not with me. And so I was looking to leverage that, to scale that up. And I knew that what we were carrying, we wanted to help hundreds of churches, and I knew I couldn't do it because there's only two of us. And what you guys have helped me do, and I would make the investment every day of the week over again. Whereas when I went into it, there was a sense of a little bit of trepidation, all the things. Is this a scam? Am I going to get ripped off again? And I can't speak highly enough of the integrity of your leadership in this. And I'm not paid to be doing this, guys. I just honestly, and it's helped us in a really powerful way to leverage everything that we've done. You got me moving again. My creativity's flowing. We've now got a fully orbed program that, frankly, I can take 1,000 churches a quarter or 1,000 nonprofits a quarter, which is probably 500 times or 250 times what I could possibly do by myself. So my gratitude is overflowing. I really appreciate you both.
Wow. Thank you, man. Yeah.
Chris is crying. He's crying in the corner.
You know, it's like, I think when we got into this, we knew we wanted to change people's lives, right? And there's the money and people getting out of survival mode and to actually being able to provide for their families and do amazing things. But then it goes to the next level where, you know, you're just a ripple effect. And we were talking about this with Sonia. And so like to see that come back, and we get those reports a lot now. To me, that is the best thing in our business. So, well,
it really does make a difference, and we would not be doing what we're doing now in this new season. Which, honestly, for us, there's another personal little agenda there, and I'm not going to have to travel 300 nights a year because I now have a vehicle to help people without actually going and sitting in their boardrooms. And that means I can get to see my grandkids grow up. I must admit, it's nice to see them on FaceTime, but I'd be lying if every now and then I don't, have a little tender moment where I think, oh, I wish I could actually just reach out and touch them. I was doing a Q&A call, and we've modeled what we're doing, frankly, on Traffic and Funnels, on what you guys have done. I was doing a Q&A call, and my wife was on, and we had about 10 or 12 pastors, some from Ireland, some from America, some from Australia. I think there was maybe someone there from Holland, and we're all together on this call, and I'm, answering questions like you guys do, and my little grandson popped up on my wife's lap, and so I just said, "Hey, guys, gotta have a family moment here. Meet my grandson," and to me, it embodied just a whole lot of this particular journey for us.
That's awesome. So good. Any advice that you would have to somebody who may be similar to you in that they're trying to build this business and they also have impact goals and just reconciling the two sides, and maybe they've been following us like you have? Any advice or maybe frameworks for how to think through the choices that they make, the next steps that they take? Just anything you want to drop. It's fun.
Counselors determine the destiny of kings. And if you get the right counselors around you, it will actually release or limit how well you go in life. That's just an absolute fact. And so, you don't have to be on the web for 5 minutes not to be bombarded with this marketing company and that marketing company and those wanting to do a special deal, today only, whatever. And so I don't know about all of them, but I do know about you guys. And so if someone is listening to this, obviously they didn't just probably randomly today just find this podcast. They've probably hooked into it, so there's a bit of interest. And I understand the feeling of sitting on the fence. I would just say my story is that as someone that's been working with people for many years, and so you become a little bit of a judge of people. And this is actually the first time we've talked live. I don't know you. We don't have barbecues together. I've got nothing invested in that other than what I know of what you've done, and that what you said you were going to do, you've actually done. And to me, that speaks to me of men of character who are not just in this for the dollars, though I am more thrilled than anyone to see you guys as with young families, and you, Taylor, with the dog as well, to be moving onward and upward. That delights my heart. But I would say to someone sitting on the fence, take the jump. Nothing's going to happen if you sit where you are. You're stuck right now, and you're going to be stuck in 12 months' time unless you make a decision. The fact that you're leaning into this relationship, I don't believe is an accident. And yep, there is an investment, but you know what? You need to make that investment as much as they need to receive your investment. And so when you invest in something, you're actually invested in it with your time and your focus and your ability and talent. And so I would say take the leap, quite honestly. And again, I know there's not a free ad or anything like that. That's not the intention. But really, what's going to change if nothing changes? You know, the definition of insanity we've all heard of trying to see a different outcome and yet doing the same thing over and over and over again. Boring. Yeah. Do something different.
Yeah. Okay. One last question before we let you go.
Sure.
Can we call you Papa Murphy?
Yeah, as long as you don't call me Papa Smurf.
Yes.
You can call me whatever you flipping like.
Guys, Michael Murphy, he is a legend. We'll link up how to connect with him. And man, we are so proud of you and so honored to be able to be a part of your journey. For real, it is an honor that we've been able to make the impact that we have. We believe in you. There's more to come. We're just waiting for the 98th wedding anniversary to come around, and we want an invite to the party.
You're going to be invited to the 98th wedding anniversary.
When you break 100, that's when it gets serious.
We're going to crack it. We're going to get a letter from the Queen and the Pope and everyone else.
Awesome, man. It's so good. Thanks for coming on and talking today.
Pleasure to chat to you both. All right, take care. Bye-bye.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.